Hi all, Azure here. Welcome back to another showcase review. Today we're doing Summer Games Fest and I give Geoff Keighley a lot of scrap. Geoff really pulled the goods this time. This show was fantastic. Way better than the state play we got, but again, like I said in that video, there wasn't really a lot of stuff for me there, but here, there was plenty of stuff for me here. So, without further ado, let's just get right into it because there's a lot to talk about here. So, first of all, as they start the show, Geoff came out guns blazing with the first reveal of the show being Resident Evil Veronica. Yes, it's one of the worst kept secrets in gaming, but we've got Resident Evil Code Veronica Remake, and they've taken out the code, so it's just Resident Evil Veronica. It's coming 2027, and when they were showing this, they started us off in France, which I haven't played Code Veronica. That's one of the games I haven't played through replaying Resident or just playing Resident Evil games. But they started us off in France. I'm pretty sure that happens in the original as well. And even at the start, I kind of thought it looks a little bit like RE Engine ish. But you have this old woman, she takes you up to what we then find out is Chris Redfield's room, and then there's a knock at the door. The person that you're, at the perspective of checks the door, and they're like taken aside by what we then find out is Hunk, which is crazy. We've now seen him in two modern RE games, Resident Evil 9 and now Code Veronica. But it's revealed, of course, that it's Claire Redfield. Claire is back in Resident Evil, and I think the game, it looks great visually. The Resident Evil remakes, 2 and 4, 3, I guess, but mainly 2 and 4, and then, of course, Requiem, all look fantastic. And I can't wait to play as Claire again. I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic experience, experiencing Veronica for the first time in this light. I will eventually go and play the original because I feel like there's going to be changes. There was changes in 2 and 4, and of course many people complained about all the changes that there are in Resident Evil 3 Remake. So I will go back and play the original eventually, but I'm glad that Code Veronica has been remade. I'm really looking forward to it, and I can't wait to play as Claire again. Next was another big announcement. We have Cuphead 2 from Studio MDHR, and there's no date for this. They just announced that it is in development. It's going to be fully 2D hand animated again. Awesome. Still haven't played the first Cuphead, but I know everybody loves that game. It's very difficult. I do want to eventually try it out. And they also announced that they are making another game called Mighty Cuphead Adventure, which is really cool. It's kind of another 2D side scroller, but it's 8-bit. And they said that it's like a love letter to older games from the 80s and 90s. So that's really cool. And they even revealed, like, after the fact, that they are making a physical cartridge for the Sega Master System. So you'll be able to play this 2026 game, or well, 2027, 2028. There's no date for this, but whenever this game is released, you'll be able to play this modern game on a Sega Master System, which that's insane. But we'll move on to the next game, another massive hit. It's Alien Isolation 2 from Sega and Creative Assembly with no release date. And Geoff keeps hitting with the start of this show. Alien Isolation, I haven't played the first one. I've watched people play it, and it looks fantastic. The horror, insane. Of course, you play as Amanda Ripley, who is Ellen Ripley's daughter in the first game. No clue yet what is going to happen for the second game. It looks like a fully, original story with the alien breaking out onto like a colony world. So that'll be interesting to see. Absolutely love the atmosphere here. I do really want to play Alien Isolation 1, and this kind of gives me like a little bit of a kick to go and play the first game. So Alien Isolation 2 looks fantastic. Next we have is Gen Atlas. This is a game I was very interested in when it first got revealed. This is a game from Fumito Ueda, who is the creator of Ico, Shadow of the Colossus, and The Last Guardian. and that is enough to get me excited. So they showed this off at, I believe it was not a Tokyo Game Show, the Game Awards. It was either the Game Awards or Summer Games Fest. I can't remember, but it looks fantastic. You have this very foreboding atmosphere, which is that comes standard with a Team Ico game. And you know what? It's kind of funny. I've been watching Gurren Lagann with friends again recently, and you play this game in like the head of a mech, and it gives very Gurren Lagann energy. You're combining with other like mech bodies, which is really cool. Um, it looks fantastic. Can't wait to see more of this game. I'm sure it's going to be another cry fest from Team Ico. They always, do that. The frame rate looked very choppy in the trailer, though. I will say that. Hopefully, they'll fix that. There's no date, so it's probably going to be at least 2027. We're waiting until this game releases. But yeah, this game, I'm willing to give it a chance. Fumito Ueda usually gives, fantastic games, so gonna wait and see for this. Next we have is Blood Message from NetEase and 24 Entertainment. There's no date for this, but if you've seen my State of Play review, I've already said this. It's another Chinese action RPG, and I'm not interested. It looks more narrative driven, I guess. We'll have to wait and see how the game properly plays before I can really pass judgment. But again, another Chinese action RPG, not interested. Sorry. Next we have is another look at Stranger Than Heaven from RGG Studio and Sega, releasing 15th of January 2027. I have been interested in this game. I've never played the Yakuza games before, but just the visual style of this game, there's just something about it that's really cool. I love the vibes that they're going for in this game. They announced that Snoop Dogg is very heavily involved in this game. He is actually in the game. And also, just the most fucking insane reveal. They revealed that Tupac is in this game? What the fuck? What the hell? What do you mean Tupac is in this game? They digitally revived Tupac to be in this Japanese RPG based in the 1900s. That's wild. Okay, I guess. I know there's some issues with potentially this, with the way that Tupac's likeness has been handled. Of course, he is no longer with us. So, yeah, Stranger Than Heaven has Tupac. That's cool, I guess. Gonna need to wait to see more gameplay because they only really showed cutscenes. But yeah, Stranger Than Heaven, cool. Next we have is Hacks. It's Haex. I don't know how to pronounce that. This is by Dead Astronauts. This is coming 2027. It's a sci-fi game, co-op survival with the looks of it. Not really my speed personally. The enemies look super freaky. It's like a procedurally player-created world, so I don't know if there's a level of choice with the player choices and procedural creation, but it looks like almost like an FPS control game, which is kind of weird. It's not really my speed, so I'm just going to move on. We get a little Dead by Daylight 10th anniversary video thing. I don't play Dead by Daylight, so I'm just going to move on. Next, we get a Mortal Shell 2 announcement saying that the open beta is now live. So if you're a fan of the first Mortal Shell and you've been looking at Mortal Shell 2, this is for you. Next we have is Sand Raiders of Sophie by TinyBuild, coming 10th of June this year, so in a couple of days at this point. So this is another look at the game. This is something I have kind of seen bits and pieces of, and it does look pretty cool. I like that there's like a mecha build, or like kind of a mecha tank building aspect to it. That looks really cool. I'll maybe potentially give it a shot. It looks decent. Something like this wouldn't usually be my kind of game, but it looks interesting, so I'll maybe give it a shot. Next we have is Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced with a new look, coming 9th of July this year. I thought the original was great. I thought the original was fine. I thought this game didn't really need a remake. I would have preferred something like the original Assassin's Creed getting a remake, but sure, I guess. Like, Black Flag is one of the most popular Assassin's Creed games for sure, so that's probably the reason why they've remade this one. So yeah, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, if you like these remakes and you like the modern style of Assassin's Creed, this is for you. Next we have is a surprising game. So before the show, it was announced that Paramount Game Studio was a new thing being set up by Paramount. They would be making games now. And this is their big game announcement for the show. They announced that they're making a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin game by Platinum Games. This could be very good. This could genuinely be fantastic. You know, Platinum Games, their bread and butter is action games with the likes of Bayonetta and Astral Chain. So this could genuinely be fantastic. I'm going to keep my eye on this one for sure. Next we have is a small Fortnite announcement with Fortnite runners coming next season. I don't play Fortnite, so if you guys still play Fortnite, this is cool for you, I guess. Look forward to all the stuff that's coming in this next season. Next we have is Gundam Rogue Orbit by Bandai, coming 2027. It's a new Gundam action RPG. I thought it looked really cool. I've seen a lot of people complaining about this game and the way that it looks, the way that it plays, just the general vibe. But I think it looks really cool. Maybe that's because I've never seen Gundam before, any of the Gundam shows. But I think it looks cool. I love anything to do with mechas, like we saw Gen Atlas earlier. Yeah, I mean, it looks cool to me. I'm gonna keep my eye on this one for sure. Next, we have a small indie with an extremely hard game by B Bear Studio, coming 24th of July this year. So this is a fun little co-op physics game by the looks of it. You play with up to 4 friends by the looks of it, and you're basically playing as geese trying not to crack an egg. You go through obstacles and stuff. This was made by one guy in Spain, apparently. So yeah, it looks like a fun little co-op game, and it's made by one guy. So if this is something that you're into, I might even try and get my friends to play it with me. Um, Support it. One guy made this, and it looks fun. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Next we have is Crossfire by That's No Moon. There's no release date for this. This is a new third-person shooter made by X Infinity Ward devs, and you can tell that it's made by X Infinity Ward devs. I mean, it looks pretty nice visually. It looks like your standard fare for realistic shooters. It's actually really cool to me that it's not just another first person shooter slop game with a battle royale or an extraction shooter. I don't even think this game has multiplayer. They said it's a single player game, and to be honest, it's given me like old Ghost Recon vibes, like Ghost Recon Future Soldier almost. And that's pretty cool to me. I thought that game was fun back when I played it growing up. They show some like cover mechanics where you like adjust what your stance is depending on how tall or how low the cover is, which I mean it's kind of cool. It's kind of a bit of a weird selling point to me, having like cover mechanics be your big major, selling point. But hey, it looks fine, looks cool. Maybe keep an eye on this one. Next we have is another look at Control Resonant by Remedy, coming September 24th this year. As I've already said, I'm really looking forward to this game. They give another little insight into the story, show some more locales that look pretty cool and some new enemies. I'm super excited for Control Resonant, so yeah, we're moving on to the next game. The next game is actually a really big game. We have Guild Wars 3 by ArenaNet. Now, this game looks awesome. I've never played a Guild Wars game before, but I know a lot of people love Guild Wars 2. It's one of the kind of biggest, or one of the big MMOs currently in the world. But yeah, I think this looks fantastic. They announced that the beta is coming autumn 2027, so that will be like around August, September time, I want to say. And yeah, I might keep an eye on this. Obviously Final Fantasy 14 is going to be my main MMO, but I've always wanted to try Guild Wars. It's always seemed like a little bit different to your standard fare for MMOs. So yeah, I want to give it a shot. Next is another look at Star Wars Galactic Racer by Lucasfilm Games, coming 6th of October 2026. They show off a new planet here. It's Devonikos? Devonikos? I can't remember how they pronounced it. But Pod Racer is a game that I never played growing up. It's not really something I've ever been interested in playing. Again, racing games aren't normally my speed, and nowadays I'm not really too into Star Wars, I'll be honest. I like all the Clone Wars stuff, prequel era, and Clone Wars is like my favorite part of the Star Wars universe. I'm not really that interested in the original trilogy, or God forbid the sequel trilogy. But yeah, I mean, for those who are into racing games and into Pod Racer and into Star Wars, this is for you. I mean, the wipeouts remind me of Jack X, which is really cool, I guess. But yeah, if you're looking forward to Star Wars Galactic Racer, this is another look. Next, we have End of Abyss by Section 9 Games coming October 1st, 2026. This is a small indie isometric shooter kind of horror game. It looks cool. I'm not super interested in it. It's not really my type of game. There's a lot of games that aren't really my type of game, to be honest. I have a very specific taste in games. But yeah, if this is something that you're interested in, it does look pretty neat, looks pretty cool. Next we have is Last Harbor by Tiny Build. There's no date for this game. It looks pretty nice. It's another survival horror type game, and it looks like you're kind of surviving on a boat that you seem to build out as the game goes on. It's a very nice visual style, at least I'll say that much. I don't know if I'll try this out, but it does look pretty nice, I have to say. Next is the first major look at Virtua Fighter Crossroads by Sega and RGG Studio, coming 2027. It's another fighter, and I've said before I don't really play fighting games, but this actually does look kind of super cool and interesting because it almost feels like, at the very least from the single player like narrative part of the game, that it feels like this mix between a fighter and an action game, and that's actually really cool. You're almost like playing an action game with the kind of lens of a fighting game. So I might actually get into this and I'll maybe try it. I've never played a Virtua Fighter game before. I know a lot of people will be looking forward towards this. Next we have is another little look at RuneScape Dragon Wilds coming September 15th, 2026. So another look at the game. I said in my State of Play review because it appeared there that it looks cool and I might get it, so I will just move on. Next we have some Switch 2 games. They just show off a bunch of games that they're going to have on Switch 2. They show off Adventures of Elliot, Orbitals, and Starseeker Astroneer Expeditions. Next off, they show Soulframe Preludes by Digital Extremes. There's no date for this. I'm not really sure if this is my kind of game. I mean, the concept of like restoring life is cool. They haven't really showed all that much to this game to kind of give an informed opinion on it, so I will just move on to the next one, which is Grounded 2 Into the Abyss update coming August 11th. There's a new look at the Grounded 2 update, and I've always thought that the idea of Grounded is really cool. I think it's a super novel concept still, and I just haven't, gotten the group together to play Grounded or Grounded 2, but I think this is really cool. I do genuinely want to try it out. Next is the announcement of Mafia the Old Country's Man of Honor expansion coming August 14th. Cool if you played Mafia the Old Country and you liked it. I've heard very mixed things of it, so it has an expansion if you want to play it. Next we have is 1666 Amsterdam by Panache Digital Games. There's no date for this, but this is the new game by Patrice Désilets, who is one of the creators of Assassin's Creed. There's a whole, story about everything that he went through at Ubisoft. But this is his new game that he has been working on for a long time. It looks actually really interesting. It looks like obviously has that feel of Assassin's Creed to what they showed. The action looks very Assassin's Creedy, but it's seemingly about witches, and I think it looks really cool from the kind of snippets of gameplay that we got. They do announce that the prologue is free to download. That's about half an hour prologue, so I do think I will give this a shot because it looks cool, and I want to support Patrice Désilets for all the shit he went through at Ubisoft. Next we have Saw Genesis from Broken Mirror Games, Anchar Studios and Bloober Team with no date. Now this was a really funny one because Jigsaw, or Billy, I think the puppet's name is Billy. I always forget that the puppet's name isn't Jigsaw, it's Billy. But Billy appears on stage to Geoff, and he gives him the usual Saw stuff. But actually, like, when the show started, you see Billy sitting in the front row, and at the time I was like, damn, I wonder when that's gonna be a thing. So Saw Genesis is a new Saw game, and it feels to me very like Outlast Trials like. They say it's a 3v1 co-op game, so you're going through like saw traps with your friends, and I assume you'll also have someone that's controlling the traps, maybe, or it's like the one that chooses which traps they have to go through. And if you're a fan of Saw, I guess it looks interesting. Since it's very, Outlast Trials adjacent. So if you're into Saw, this is for you. Next is another look at Lords of the Fallen 2 by CI Games, coming autumn 2026. It's another like action RPG Souls-like looking game. Not really interested, but the enemy designs look, super interesting at least. Next we have is Star Wars Zero Company by BitReactor, EA, and Lucasfilm Games, coming 27th of August 2026. This is a new Star Wars tactical game, and this is a Star Wars game I can get behind because I absolutely love these kinds of tactical games. I loved XCOM, I loved XCOM 2. I thought they were both fantastic games, and this for sure is giving me that same vibe. And I think it looks fantastic. And by the looks of it, going off of what I said earlier, this seems like it's based on the Clone Wars because they show Anakin at the end of the trailer and they also show clones throughout the trailer. So I don't know if that's just like an aesthetic thing, but yeah, this could be based on the Clone Wars. So I definitely do want to give this a shot. Next, we have The Blood of Dawnwalker by Rebel Wolves, coming September 3rd, 2026. I've seen bits and pieces of this game. They've marketed it very heavily. So I've seen quite a lot of this game, or at the very least its marketing. It looks interesting. You play as a vampire. You seem to traverse eras as a vampire because they show like medieval stuff, but at the start of the trailer they also show modern day stuff. So it could be, really interesting. I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about the gameplay style. It's not really my feel. But yeah, this does look interesting. I have to give them that. Next is Among Us On Guard by Inner Sloth with no date. This is another, Among Us game by the Among Us devs, and I'm sure we all had our fun with Among Us back when it was like really popular during the pandemic, and I think this looks fun. It genuinely looks really fun. Just looks like a fun single player social deduction game, and I do genuinely want to give this a shot because it looks fun. They also give us another little look, another little trailer at the Among Us TV series, and again, it just looks really fun. They have like insane talent. They have, like Elijah Wood, they have Vet Nicole Brown, and that is insane to me still that they just have that kind of talent on board for something like this. Next is the announcement of a new mission coming to 007 First Light. They announced that Bomba will return. I haven't played this game. I will play this game though. I think it does look really interesting. It looks like a mix between Uncharted and Hitman. So I do actually really want to give this a shot. But next we have some more Nintendo announcements. They show Turok Origins, Armatis, and they also show some more Final Fantasy XIV on Switch too, which it's still insane to me that this is even a thing. They showed off some more gameplay with the Sor Kai dungeon in Heavensward, so honestly, that's insane that it's, still coming. They then showed off some more Gothic remake. I mean, it looks cool. I didn't play the original, but this game looks kind of Baldur's Gate 3 adjacent, so if you played the original Gothic, this one's for you, I guess. Then they showed off Ion 2, releasing September 2026. I'm not going to play this at all, so I'm going to move on. They showed off some more Wuthering Waves, Cyberpunk Edge Runners collab stuff. Again, don't play this game, so I'm going to move on. They then showed off Monster Hunter Wilds' first big expansion, being Ascendance. This is coming 2027. I've always really wanted to play Monster Hunter. I've tried to get into it, but it's a really big game. I have to say. I've tried to play Monster Hunter World, but yeah, it's really big. But if you play Monster Hunter Wilds, I know there was issues, but I feel like those issues should have been fixed by this point. It looks really cool for Monster Hunter fans. This is for you. Next, they showed off Swords of Legends by Oregon Shanghai. Now, Believe me when I say this, I don't like these Chinese action RPGs, but this one actually does kind of look pretty cool, I have to say. I think the way that they're doing combat is pretty cool, so I do actually kind of want to keep an eye on this one. But this is the only one. I give them one Chinese action RPG. Next we have is Hot Wheels Infinite Rush by Milestone SRL. This is coming 24th of September this year. Another game to add to September. It's a Hot Wheels racing game. I mean, I'm sure as many of you probably loved Hot Wheels growing up. I think they're fucking sick as hell. I think this game looks sick as hell. It could be really fun, to be honest, and I will keep an eye on this. Next, we unfortunately have to move on to the funeral of Sonic fans everywhere. They announced that Sonic Racing Crossworlds is getting a year 2 of DLC. They show off TMNT and Avatar The Last Airbender collabs for their year 1, and then for year 2, they announced that Godzilla is getting a track, which is crazy, and they also announced that Evangelion will be getting a track, and they also show off Rei and Asuka racers. So that's cool for those who play Crossworlds. I do actually want to play Crossworlds at some point because it's basically going to be the closest I get to playing Sonic Riders again. They also announced that Sonic Pico Park will be happening as a collab, but I say funeral because even though it's the 35th anniversary of Sonic, there's still no major Sonic reveal. No new game, no new model, there's nothing here, so I'm sorry, Sonic fans, you might have to wait a little bit longer. Next, they show us Attack on Titan 3 coming July 1st this year by Koei Tecmo. I didn't watch Attack on Titan. I didn't think it was good. Kill me, I guess. I didn't like Attack on Titan. I didn't read the manga either. But this game covers the end of the series, I presume. I'm actually not 100% sure because, again, I've not seen or read the series. So this is for the people who still like Attack on Titan in 2026 and want to play this game, I guess. Next is another racing game. For this showcase, they've shown so many racing games, but this is Clutch from Maverick Games coming spring 2027. I'm not, like I said before, I'm not a huge racing guy. This seems very story driven, which is pretty cool in my opinion. I don't know if I will check this out, but if you're into racing games, I do think this looks like a potentially really interesting game that you can play. They then show Chronicles Medieval by Raw Power Games with early access coming this year. It's like a third person strategy game. I'm not really into this, so I'm going to move on. Next, they show Sea of Remnants by NetEase with no date. I think this visual style is really cool. It's like a turn-based game. It's free to play, so it's obviously going to be some kind of gacha game if I had to, guess. They then announce Capcom having a game sale, Hitman World of Assassination having Wiz Khalifa as the target for the 5th of June to the 5th of July, and also it is revealed that they have Pal World 1.0 coming July 10th. I don't know if this is like some kind of MMO. I have no idea. I don't play Pal World. But now we're getting into the final stretch of announcements. So first, they finally announce that Wolf Among Us 2 by Telltale Games is coming 2027. I totally forgot about this game. I think it's crazy that this game is still coming. I thought Telltale was pretty much dead, to be honest. I haven't played the first Wolf Among Us, but I know so many people are waiting on this game. And they also reveal that Wolf Among Us is getting remastered and it is releasing holiday this year. So I might actually try this out. I love The Walking Dead by Telltale, and I've heard The Wolf Among Us is fantastic as well, so I definitely will give this a shot. What I won't give a shot, however, is Stellar Blade Bloodrain by Shift Up. This game, I'm not interested at all. I didn't play Stellar Blade. The main reason why I'm not playing this game is because Shift Up supports generative AI, and I am absolutely against generative AI. Many people have found in the trailer that there's messed up, garbled Chinese, and people who are fluent in Chinese have said that these characters are basically fake. They're making fake Chinese essentially. So This game supports Gen AI, so I will not be playing it categorically. If you want to play it, cool, I guess just know you're supporting Gen AI, and the character as well looks very childlike, so that's very fucking weird. So yeah, I will not be playing this. The penultimate reveal of the showcase is Street Fighter 6 announcing Year 4 DLC with the reveals of Yasmin, Arjun, and Bosch as new characters, and Tifa Lockhart finally being put in a fighting game, and it's Street Fighter 6. I don't play fighting games, but I know people are super excited about seeing Tifa in a fighting game like this. But speaking of Tifa, that leads me to the final reveal of the showcase, and I've been predicting this to be happening since February. It is the reveal of Final Fantasy VII Revelation coming spring 2027. The final game in the Final Fantasy Remake trilogy is finally coming, which means we're almost out of Final Fantasy VII jail. We can finally get more Kingdom Hearts. No, I'm kidding. I jest, of course, but this game looks, it looks fantastic. There's nothing really more that can be said about it. They show some really interesting stuff. They show new outfits for the characters. This is actually part of what is called the Fits system, which is like almost like giving the characters jobs from Final Fantasy, which is really cool. They show specifically Warrior for Cloud and Black Mage for Tifa. They also show outfits for Barrett and Kate Sith, but they didn't actually tell us what those outfits are. Just based on the kind of looks of these two that you can see, I think that Kate Sith could be Summoner, potentially, which is weird, obviously, considering we have summon materia in this game. But it could more so be like he's summoning enemies, potentially. And with Barrett, I think this could be Paladin, maybe. The armor is very heavy plate armor, so it does look like Paladin to me. They, of course, show the weapons. They show Diamond and Ruby weapons specifically. I can't wait to experience the horror of fighting these guys in real time. They show off, finally, thank God, Sid and Vincent gameplay. I cannot wait to play as these two. I've been looking forward to them so much. Vincent is my favorite to play as in the original Final Fantasy, so I just can't wait. I can't wait to play as Vincent. They show Highwind gameplay, and they show that like you can jump from Highwind and like parachute into the map from anywhere, which is insane. Of course, they can't land the Highwind. That would be a technical nightmare, I think. But having this like parachuting into anywhere in the world is a good, second option. But yeah, I can't wait for Final Fantasy VII Revelation. I'm currently playing through Rebirth. Right now I'm on chapter 10. So yeah, Final Fantasy VII Revelation, the remake trilogy, is finally coming to an end. And with that comes the end of Summer Games Fest. Fantastic show. It's one of Geoff's best, to be honest. I'll be straight up. It's one of Geoff's best shows he's ever done. Can't wait for the next one. Game Awards, of course, in December. It's going to be great, I'm sure. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of craziness going on there. But that will be all for this showcase. Let me know down below what you guys thought of this show. Was it good? Was it bad? Was it mid? Let me know down below. Goodbye for now, and may your heart be your guiding key.